All right, so here's what we've got. So this used to be here, which curved down and went that way. But this is where our new sub panel is going, so that it can power all the equipment going down the wall. Tomorrow, electricians come in to do the sub panel. All this wiring that was put in, it's coming out and being reconfigured the way we want it. 9 dedicated circuits all the way down. So 1 there, 1, 2, 3 over there, no, 4 over there, and then 2 here, and then we're going to have 1 here for the compressor with a switch. And then our fans, they're going to be on a dedicated switch too and line. So we'll have 2 fans for the lasers over there. So very nice setup. We'll show you the whole process all the way down of how we're doing it, but that's where we're at so far. Here's our main, comes down, heat press, hat press, comes down, accessories, PC, laptop, printer, everything here, dedicated circuit, comes up, laser 1, laser 2, 2 dedicated circuits, comes over, exhaust fans will mount here, and we'll go over to that one. Dedicated circuit with a switch to turn them both on at the same time. Comes over, dedicated switch or dedicated outlet, 2 outlets for 2 fiber lasers here, and then it wraps around and then it ends here. Dedicated circuit for a UV flatbed printer, small one, desktop, and maybe another fiber laser over here. So great setup. Everything where it needs to be. Also drops down to another dedicated circuit that runs to the big boy over there. So whole garage is in shambles right now, but it's going to be nice and organized when it's all said and done. So here's where we're at. We've patched all our holes, and we had to go get some paint match to match kind of what was existing, but that got screwed up, so we're having to use a whole new paint and repaint everything. So works out better anyways, fresh paint, fresh look. So everything is cut in all the way down up top. So now it's time to finally roll the rest of the paint on, and then we'll start moving all this equipment back into where its home will be. So nice, clean, fresh paint, everything patched. As you can see, everything looks beautiful. This limousine leather is a stunning color. Just absolute beautiful color. We left that the other color just because I felt there was no need to really paint it. It kind of blends a little bit from a distance, so I think that'll be cool. It kind of maybe differentiates the fiber corner. But yeah, so this all looks really good here. Great paint. That was the Bear Pro paint. Didn't really leave a whole lot of streaks. Really nice stuff. Let's talk about the electrical run. Show you kind of what we did. So on the opposite side of this wall outside, we have our main panel that comes into our sub panel. And this is what we got going on for our sub panel. This is an extra breaker here, 15 amp. We could probably put 20 there if we want to. But basically we're able to have everything we need organized and on dedicated lines. So from this panel, this is the order of how we run things. So coming down, we've got a dedicated breaker for our air compressor. Now we run one of these because these are very quiet. We see a lot of people like, hey, you got to get the ones from Cobalt, Home Depot, Harbor Freight, whatever. Those things are loud. Okay, this is an old school 5 horsepower, 26 gallon. When it's running, it's very, very, very quiet. It's not that loud. Like, it's tolerable to where you can have it inside. So I'd recommend if you could find something like that at Campbell and Housefield. Very cool compressors. Does everything I need it to do when it comes to supplying air to my machine. So from the sub panel, we come to the heat press. Now this is important because we do a lot of leatherette, and we do a lot of adhesive bonding to leatherette, and we utilize our heat press to accomplish that task. That goes to its first breaker. So breaker 1 we have noted as heat press. So this is a 20 amp breaker here, and then our hat press. So the hat press here, the power rating on this is 800 watts. So we have this on a dedicated 15 amp on this one. So hat press 15 amp breaker there. 15 amp is 1500 watt rated. 20 amp is 2000 watt rated. This is 1800 watts on this one. So we're fine with a 20 amp breaker here. And then what it does is it drops down and it comes to all of our electrical that's here. This is a dedicated line too. So we got 2 plugs on 1 circuit there. And then that comes down and it comes up to 2 dedicated circuits here. So we have laser 1, laser 2, so dedicated line and a dedicated line. This is for 2 separate lasers. So we can run this laser and whatever laser we decide to run here in the future. If it's a bolt, fine. If it's something else that somebody supplies to the YouTube channel, that's what'll be sitting there. So breakers run separate from each other. Now that runs down into our exhaust system. So this is our switched exhaust system. When we flip that switch, it turns on. Dedicated circuit just for this alone. If we're running 3 fans, most fans are pulling about anywhere from say 40 to 80 watts, maybe 100. So we're fine with a 15 amp breaker there. And that also runs to our switch that's right here for the fan that is sitting here. So we've got a fan there, so when we plug in there, we're good. And then we've got room for 1 more plug. Say if we wanted to run a booster, we could do that. Either way, it's all switched. So when we flip the switch, it turns all the fans on. We're good there. What it does, this runs up and actually supplies to that switch back there. Runs down, and then we have another dedicated line for our chiller and our laser over here. So 3655 and our chiller, which is sitting right there, that powers that. What's nice is you label everything. You notice everything has a label. When you label these, make sure you match the labels at your sub panel. That'll help you determine what you got going on at the breaker and what every switch is. Now we know our fiber lasers won't ever exceed 800 watts. So we've got 120 amp breaker supplying 2 outlets here. So we've got a dedicated system here for 2 fiber lasers. And then we've got another dedicated outlet here. So 2 circuits here, dedicated outlet, another 20 amp. That's fiber laser 3. So technically, if we wanted to, we can run 3 fiber lasers, or we can run 2 fiber lasers, and then we can run a UV printer, which is probably the plan. We definitely want to add a flatbed UV printer, a small size, to accommodate our leatherette sheets, which our leatherette sheets don't exceed 20 inches. They're 12 by 20 sheets. So we can have a UV printer for this area here. And then over here, we can run 2 fibers. If we wanted to, technically, we could also run 2 fibers off this 20 amp. No, that's a 15 amp, because we created this line based off of a bolt sitting here. A bolt is only going to require a 15 amp breaker. So this is 15 amp breaker. Like, we could put a big, huge MOPA here if we wanted to. And then we can run 2 of them over here, or run a big MOPA, and then run 2 smaller ones over here, and then run a UV printer dedicated over here. So there's different configurations for what you can do with your outlets. When you start adding breakers, add the breakers based off of your wattage of your machines that you're using. That's usually the first thing you want to do. So plan out your electrical based on your equipment, okay? But that is our run. That's what we're doing, and it's a lot easier to do it along one wall. But the great thing is if I ever relocate and I need to take all this with me, it's all external. So I can pull all this off and I can take it and put it on whatever location I move to, and I have my setup. All I need is one nice long wall and we're good to go. But I know everything is safe, everything is on its own dedicated breaker, and I don't have to worry about things popping breakers and heating up the system. So this is what we got for our electrical. It was all done in one day. As long as you get a licensed electrician in here, you'll know exactly what to do, and he can get it all done for you. In the end, you're testing everything to make sure every outlet is what it is. And like I said, you can come on over here and you can just label your stuff here. Very cool, very simple to do. Having it externally done like this is going to be probably your most affordable route to go. You just use conduit and everything is beautiful. We've got a couple more brackets to add to our setup to secure certain areas, and then we're done. But that's it. But you can see here, flip the switch, exhaust system turns on, and we're good to go. So we've got our exhaust port here for future expansion, and then we've got our exhaust here for our fiber lasers later on down the line. Actually, we have a fiber laser and we need to connect it, so we're good here. So very cool stuff, guys. Very simple to do. Plan out your machines, plan out a wall, and rock and roll with dedicated circuits. This is a much nicer way to do things. And when we did it, we had to think about future expansion. We know that we're using this, the Thunder Nova Plus 24. This probably gonna disappear. That'll go. We'll sell that. And then we know that we're gonna be rocking more than one fiber. We have one now, but I already know once I start using it, I'll most likely get another one. We definitely know we want a MOPA, so we added outlets to accommodate future expansion. Think about that. Think about future expansion and what you're going to do for the future. That way you do it once and it's done. You don't want to have to do all this only to do it again. That's what we did here. We had to rip out electrical to redo it all, but we were able to just add with existing parts we had. And what made it easy was the fact that it was all external. We were able to just unscrew it all and then take all the wire and rerun all the wire the way we needed it to, and configure the boxes based on where the equipment was actually sitting. So we can tactfully place the boxes in certain areas so that it all looked good once the machines were where they needed to be. So I knew this machine was going here within a certain distance. So I knew, okay, what is the end run of this machine? Right here. Perfect, that's where I'm putting the plug. I didn't want that plug to interfere with whatever was sitting here or be behind it, so I put that right here. I knew there was gonna be a lot of stuff in the back over there, but I knew that this was gonna be a straight run, so we're just gonna run all the outlets up high. Because what would happen in the future if maybe I decided to move this and put a workbench here? Well, I want that outlet above the workbench to where I can just plug stuff in. The ducting, where's the ducting going? How is that gonna look? Is going to come down with a hose. That's going to look fine there. And then coming over here, none of this interferes. The switch is perfect there. The air line's here, directly where it needs to go. The motor for the fan is there. And then comes over here. This outlet doesn't interfere with the drop down here that we need, and everything just looks right where it needs to be. So plan everything out, okay? If you can somehow get it on a stud, fantastic. Plan everything out based on your studs, but it's all based on the size of your equipment, the width of all your machines. We know a bolt is at least 36 inches wide. That's what this table is. I think it's like 35 or something like that. So that's what this table is. So we got 36 inches on this table or something like that, 37 maybe. So we know, okay, from here to here, this table fits right in between these outlets perfectly. And then we got our other work table that's gonna sit here. So plan it out, guys. Plan it out and then get it done. This can be a costly expense, but for me, putting it out externally, it makes it a little bit easier to do, and it's always removable in the event that you ever relocate the equipment or have to move or something. You can always take this all off and take it with you. So there you go, guys. Very easy to do and fun. So I was able to help my electrician get it all done because I personally know him, but very cool setup, and I'm very happy with the results and the way everything's running. So we've been running all these machines on with absolutely zero issues, and that's what you want. I don't have to worry that if one machine's running and I turn another one off, pop, you know, all of a sudden breakers are popping. That's not the case. Or if I'm running this machine over here, what's going to happen if my wife turns on the air fryer in the kitchen? So plain and simple, get it done right, and you won't have any problems. My name is James. This is part 2 of this series. Part 3 is coming, so make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you later, guys. Peace out.